This panel shows the role of the pit ponies in underground mines here in Collinsville and across Australia. Despite their name, the pit ponies were generally Clydesdale horses, known for their strength and quiet nature. Down on the bottom left-hand corner of the panel, you can see the last two working pit ponies in Australia, Warrior and Mr. Ed. These horses worked in the No. 2 mine in Scottville and would have had a few stories to tell. The miners loved their horses, and the horses knew how to work their men. There is an interesting story about these last pit ponies. In the late 1980s, the mine manager at the No. 2 mine invited a group of Japanese buyers to have a look at the mine. The Japanese were interested in buying coal from the mine, and the mine manager thought it might look a little antiquated if we were still using the pit ponies in the modern era. So the mine manager informed the union that he was going to retire the horses. The men in the union vigorously objected to the notion, as the pit ponies did most of the heavy work underground, such as pulling cables and dragging loads of timber, roof bolts and supplies into the coalface. When the manager persisted, the miners in Collinsville and the union made the horses members of the QCEU, the Queensland Colliery Employees Union. In response to the mine manager, we stated that if they wanted to sack the pit ponies, they would have to sack them according to seniority. And of course these horses had been there longer than many of the men themselves. The case eventually went to the Industrial Court, and the presiding commissioner decided to come to Collinsville to have a look at the pit ponies and the situation. The commissioner's stenographer was a known animal lover, and also decided to come down and have a look. On the day of the visit, the union members managed to meet the commissioner and his stenographer before the manager arrived, and informed them that the manager was planning to send the horses to the knackery. The stenographer was horrified. When the mine manager arrived, he played right into our hands, saying, "So you've come to have a look at my 2 tins of pale, have you?" Well, that turned the tide for the men in the union. The commissioner ruled in our favour, and it was another couple of years before we reluctantly agreed that the pit ponies no longer had a place underground. Mr. Ed and Warrior spent their final years after 1989 in a paddock belonging to one of the men who worked with them underground.